Raven had always felt like the odd one out in the bustling corridors of Apex marketing in downtown Seattle. At 28, he was openly gay in a sea of straight colleagues who meant well but often tripped over their words during Pride Month discussions. So when Ryan Caldwell joined the team as the new graphic designer, and Raven overheard him mentioning a weekend at the local LGBTQ+ film festival, his heart leaped. It was like finding a lifeline in an unexpected storm. They clicked instantly. Ryan, with his easy smile and sharp wit, was 30, from a small town in Oregon, and had moved to the city for a fresh start. Over coffee breaks, they shared stories of coming out. Raven's supportive family in California versus Ryan's more complicated journey with religious parents. Raven felt a spark, not just of camaraderie, but something deeper. Maybe this was the beginning of a real connection in a world that still made being gay feel isolating at times. As weeks turned into months, their friendship blossomed. They grabbed lunches together, dissecting the latest office drama or debating the best drag shows in town. Raven introduced Ryan to his circle of friends, a diverse group of queer activists, artists, and allies who met weekly for game nights or protests. Ryan fit right in, laughing at the right jokes and sharing his own tales of navigating life as a gay man in conservative pockets of America. Raven confided in him about his past heartbreaks, like the ex who ghosted him after meeting his family, and Ryan listened with empathy that felt genuine. But subtle cracks began to appear. During a team-building happy hour, the conversation shifted to politics. The upcoming election had everyone buzzing, and Raven passionately argued for progressive candidates who championed LGBTQ+ rights. Ryan nodded along but stayed quiet, changing the subject to the Seahawks' latest game. Raven brushed it off. Maybe Ryan wasn't political. Not everyone had to be an activist. One evening, after a long day of pitching campaigns, Raven suggested they hit up a gay bar downtown. Ryan hesitated but agreed, and they ended up at the Cuff, a lively spot with thumping music and rainbow flags waving proudly. As they sipped beers, Raven opened up about his involvement in local advocacy groups, fighting against anti-trans legislation creeping into state laws. "It's exhausting, but we have to push back," Raven said, his eyes lighting up with determination. Ryan set his glass down, his expression shifting. "I get it, man, but sometimes I wonder if we're pushing too hard. Like, with all this gender stuff, it's getting confusing for kids. Don't you think?" Raven blinked, caught off guard. He laughed it off at first, assuming it was a joke, but Ryan's face was serious. "I'm just saying, back home we kept things simple. Gay rights are one thing, but the rest feels like it's going overboard." Raven felt a knot in his stomach but didn't press. Maybe it was the alcohol talking. They changed topics, and the night ended on a high note with shared laughs over bad dance moves. But that comment lingered in Raven's mind like a splinter he couldn't quite remove. Work pulled them closer. They collaborated on a major project for a nonprofit client focused on mental health in the LGBTQ+ community. Raven poured his soul into it, drawing from personal experiences of isolation during his teens. Ryan's designs were spot-on, vibrant, inclusive visuals that captured the essence of resilience. Their late-night sessions in the office turned intimate, with takeout dinners and lingering glances. Raven wondered if Ryan felt the same pull. One Friday, after wrapping the project, Raven invited Ryan to a party at his apartment. It was a mix of friends: Jamal, a black trans man and activist; Maria, a lesbian lawyer fighting for immigrant rights; and others from the community. The vibe was electric. Conversations flowed from pop culture to social justice. Ryan seemed engaged at first, chatting about his design inspirations. But as the night wore on, tensions simmered. Jamal brought up police reform, sharing a story of harassment he'd faced. Ryan interjected, "I mean, not all cops are bad. My uncle's one, and he's a good guy." The room quieted. Raven tried to steer the conversation, but Ryan doubled down. "We need law and order. All this defund stuff is just chaos." Maria chimed in, explaining systemic issues, but Ryan waved it off. "Look, I'm gay too, but I don't buy into all this woke agenda. It's dividing us more than helping." Raven's friends exchanged glances, and he felt heat rise to his cheeks. He pulled Ryan aside to the kitchen. "Hey, what's going on?" That came out harsh. Ryan shrugged. "I'm just being honest. You guys act like everything's a battle. I came out. I live my life. Why make it political?" Raven stared, realizing this wasn't a one-off. Their shared identity masked deeper divides. The party wrapped awkwardly, and Ryan left early, leaving Raven to apologize to his friends. The next week at work was strained. Raven avoided one-on-one time, burying himself in tasks. Ryan noticed, cornering him in the break room. "Did I say something wrong? I thought we were cool." Raven sighed. "It's not that simple. My friends, our community faces real threats. Dismissing that hurts." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "So now I'm the bad guy because I don't agree with everything? That's tolerant." The sarcasm stung. Raven walked away, his initial joy turning to confusion. How could someone who shared his orientation feel so alien? As the project deadline approached, they had to collaborate. Late one night, alone in the office, emotions boiled over. "Why do you think like that?" Raven asked. Ryan confessed. Growing up in a conservative family, he internalized views that clashed with progressive ideals. "I support gay marriage, but the rest, the pronouns, the bathrooms, it's too much change too fast." Raven shared his own story. Bullying in school, therapy for anxiety, activism is healing. "It's not woke. It's survival." They argued, voices rising, but ended in silence. The air thick with unspoken attraction and unresolved tension. Raven left wondering if bridges could be built or if some gaps were too wide. The following days blurred into a routine of polite nods and professional emails. Raven threw himself into volunteer work at the local LGBTQ+ center, organizing a fundraiser for queer youth. It was there, amid rainbow banners and hopeful teens, that he reflected on Ryan. Was it fair to judge him so harshly? Everyone's journey was different. Maybe with time Ryan could evolve. But doubt crept in. Raven's best friend, Jamal, pulled no punches over brunch. "Dude, he's got internalized homophobia or something. You deserve better than someone who undermines the fight." Maria agreed. "It's not just politics, it's values. If he dismisses trans rights, what's next?" Raven defended Ryan weakly, citing his kindness and shared experiences. Deep down, though, their words echoed his fears. At work, a new challenge arose. The company landed a contract with a progressive brand promoting diversity. Raven and Ryan were assigned to lead the creative team. Excitement mixed with dread. During the first brainstorming session, ideas flew. Inclusive ads featuring queer families, non-binary models. Ryan contributed designs but hesitated on certain elements. "Do we need to go this far? It might alienate some audiences." The team pushed back and Raven mediated, but inside, frustration built. After the meeting, he confronted Ryan in the parking lot. "This isn't about audiences. It's about representation. Why resist?" Ryan admitted, "I worry it's performative. Companies jump on trends for profit." Valid point, Raven thought, but it felt like deflection. Their personal lives intertwined more. Ryan invited Raven to a low-key dinner at his place, a cozy apartment overlooking the Puget Sound. Over pasta and wine, they avoided hot topics, reminiscing about college crushes and dream vacations. Laughter filled the room, and for a moment, Raven forgot the rifts. As the evening wound down, Ryan leaned in, their hands brushing. "I've enjoyed getting to know you," he said softly. Raven's heart raced. Was this the spark igniting? But he pulled back, memories of the party flashing. "Me too. But we need to talk about the differences." Ryan sighed. "Can't we just be us, without the world intruding?" They parted with a hug that lingered too long, leaving Raven torn between desire and principle. The fundraiser event arrived. A gala with speeches, auctions, and a silent disco. Raven convinced Ryan to come as his +1, hoping exposure would bridge gaps. The night started well. Ryan mingled, charmed by stories of resilience. But during a panel on intersectionality, a speaker discussed allyship within the community. Ryan whispered to Raven, "This is preachy. Not everyone's oppressed the same way." Raven shushed him, but later, in the crowd, Ryan engaged in a heated debate with a guest over affirmative action. It's reverse discrimination, he argued. The guest, a queer woman of color, countered sharply, and Raven intervened, embarrassed. On the drive home, silence reigned until Raven exploded. Do you hear yourself? You're gay. Yet you sound like those who oppress us. Ryan fired back. And you sound like you need everyone to think exactly like you. Tolerance goes both ways. The argument escalated, touching on family values, religion, and society. Ryan revealed his parents disowned him initially but reconciled when he didn't flaunt it. Raven shared his pride parades and advocacy as liberation. They arrived at Ryan's place in tears, the night ending in a raw, honest embrace. But no resolution. Work suffered. The diversity campaign hit snags as their clashing visions clashed. Raven pushed for bold messaging, Ryan for moderation. Their boss noticed the tension, pulling them aside. Sort it out or I'll reassign. That evening, over coffee, they tried. Ryan opened up about fears. Change scares me. What if it backfires? Raven empathized but stood firm. Staying silent is complicity. A turning point came during a weekend retreat the company organized, a team-building trip to the Olympic Peninsula. Amid hikes and bonfires, Raven and Ryan shared a cabin. Nature stripped away distractions, forcing confrontation. By the fire, Ryan confessed admiration for Raven's passion. You make me question things, Raven admitted. You remind me not everyone's pace is the same. Intimacy grew, not physical but emotional. They hiked alone, discussing dreams. Ryan shared his art portfolio, vulnerable pieces on identity. Raven saw layers. A man grappling with internalized biases. Hope flickered. But on the last night, a group discussion on social issues reignited sparks. A colleague mentioned climate justice intersecting with queer rights. Ryan scoffed. Now everything's connected? It's exhausting. Raven's patience snapped. Because it is connected. Oppression doesn't silos. They argued publicly, embarrassing both. Back in the cabin, Ryan packed angrily. Maybe we're too different. Raven nodded, heart heavy. The drive back was silent, the budding romance fracturing under weighty ideals. Back in Seattle, the fracture deepened. Raven dove into activism, joining a march against a proposed bill limiting LGBTQ+ education in schools. Chanting with thousands, he felt empowered, but lonely, missing Ryan's presence. Ryan, meanwhile, withdrew, focusing on solo projects. Colleagues whispered about their fallout, adding office gossip to the mix. A mutual friend, Sarah from HR, tried mediating over lunch. You're both good guys. Find common ground. Raven appreciated it, but doubts lingered. What if common ground meant compromising core beliefs? Ryan echoed similar thoughts in texts. Miss our talks, but not the fights. The diversity campaign launched amid fanfare. Reviews were mixed. Praise for inclusivity, backlash from conservative corners. Ryan's moderated elements softened the blow, but Raven felt it diluted the message. At the launch party, they avoided each other until fate intervened. A shared table. Small talk led to deeper waters. Proud of what we built, Ryan said. Raven agreed, but added, could have been stronger. Alcohol loosened tongues. Ryan admitted, seeing the impact, maybe I was wrong on some things. Hope surged in Raven. They stepped outside for air, the city lights twinkling. I like you, Raven. More than friends. The confession hung heavy. Raven felt the same but hesitated. But our views. Ryan pulled him close. We can work on that. Their first kiss was tentative, charged with months of tension. Felt right, yet wrong, like borrowing happiness from a shaky foundation. The relationship bloomed cautiously. Dates involved neutral territories, movies, hikes, avoiding triggers. Raven introduced Ryan to lighter community events like queer book clubs. Ryan engaged more, asking questions. Progress seemed possible, but shadows loomed. During a dinner with Raven's friends, Ryan slipped, commenting on immigration policies in a way that offended Maria. Apologies followed, but trust frayed. Raven grappled internally. Was love enough to overlook divides? His therapist suggested boundaries, but emotions clouded judgment. Ryan, too, struggled, attending a conservative family reunion where he defended Raven subtly, facing backlash. "They think you're radicalizing me," he joked later, but pain underlined it. A major conflict erupted over the holidays. Raven planned a trip to San Francisco for Pride events, inviting Ryan. Ryan balked. "It's too much right now. My family's visiting." Hurt, Raven went alone, immersing in celebrations that reaffirmed his identity. Photos on social media showed him with friends, flags waving. Ryan liked them but commented privately, "Looks fun, but careful not to alienate people." Upon return, confrontation brewed. "Alienate who?" "Bigots," Raven accused. Ryan countered, "Not everyone outside the bubble is a bigot. Some are just traditional." The fight escalated to core issues. Ryan's reluctance to fully embrace progressive causes versus Raven's insistence on alignment. "If you can't support all of us, how can you support me?" Raven demanded. Tears flowed. Ryan revealed deeper fears. Losing his family again? Job security in a divided America. "I want to change, but it's hard." Raven empathized but drew a line. "I can't dim my light for your comfort." They parted that night uncertain, the relationship teetering. Work provided distraction, but the personal bled in. A client meeting went awry when Ryan's conservative leanings clashed with the team's vision. Raven covered, but resentment built. Friends advised ending it. "He's holding you back." Yet, memories of tender moments, Ryan's support during Raven's flu, surprise picnics, pulled him back. One stormy evening, Ryan showed up at Raven's door, soaked. "I went to a meeting at the center. Listened to stories." It was a step. They talked till dawn, bridging gaps with vulnerability. Ryan committed to learning, reading books Raven recommended. Hope reignited, but cautiously. Months passed in a delicate balance. Ryan attended workshops on allyship, challenging his biases. Raven appreciated the effort, their bond strengthening through shared growth. Dates turned romantic. Weekend getaways to the coast, where waves crashed as they discussed futures. "I see us together," Ryan whispered one night, stars above. But society intruded. A Supreme Court ruling on LGBTQ+ protections sparked nationwide debates. Raven joined rallies. Ryan supported from afar, donating quietly. At a family dinner Raven hosted, his parents adored Ryan, until politics surfaced. Raven's dad, a veteran activist, grilled Ryan on views. Ryan held his own but faltered on certain topics, leading to awkward silence. The real test came during an office scandal. A colleague outed as non-binary faced harassment from a client. The team rallied, pushing for policy changes. Ryan hesitated publicly, fearing backlash. Raven confronted him. Silence is siding with the oppressor. Ryan eventually spoke up, but the delay hurt. "I needed time," he explained. Raven wondered if time was an excuse. Personal lives collided further. Ryan's parents visited, conservative folks from Oregon. Raven met them nervously. Dinner was polite until Ryan's mom mentioned traditional values. Raven bit his tongue, but tension simmered. Later, Ryan admitted, "They like you, but worry about our lifestyle." Raven felt othered, questioning if Ryan defended him enough. A pivotal night arrived. A community event honoring queer elders. Raven spoke on stage about unity. Ryan watched proudly, but afterward, in a bar, a stranger recognized Ryan from a past social media post. An old tweet questioning trans athletes. It went viral in their circle. Friends bombarded Raven. "How can you date him?" Confrontation ensued at home. "That was years ago," Ryan defended. "I've changed." Raven demanded proof. Actions, not words. Ryan stormed out, leaving Raven in turmoil. Was redemption possible, or were past sins indelible? Reconciliation attempts followed. Ryan deleted old posts, publicly affirmed support. Raven forgave tentatively, but trust was scarred. Their relationship evolved into something deeper yet fragile. Love amid ideological warfare. Climax built during election season. Debates raged. Raven canvassed neighborhoods. Ryan joined once, uncomfortably. At a heated town hall, Ryan faced questions on his evolving views. He stumbled but stood by Raven. Pride swelled, but exhaustion set in. One fateful night, after a rally, they argued fiercely. Raven accused Ryan of half measures. Ryan of extremism. "Maybe we're not meant to be," Ryan said, voice breaking. Raven agreed through tears. They separated, hearts shattered. In the aftermath, Raven reflected on lessons. Love's limits, growth's pain. Ryan reached out sporadically, showing continued change. But the divide proved too vast. Life moved on in Seattle's relentless rhythm. Raven threw himself into work and activism, rising as a leader in the community. Awards came for the diversity campaign, bittersweet without Ryan's collaboration. Friends rallied around him, but nights alone brought what-ifs. Ryan transferred departments, minimizing encounters. Rumors swirled. He dated others, attended more events. Raven felt a pang, jealousy mixed with relief. Had their time together sparked real change? A year later, at a mutual friend's wedding, a queer celebration blending traditions, they reunited. Ryan approached, looking transformed. "I've been volunteering. Your influence stuck." Raven smiled, genuinely happy. They danced platonically, reminiscing without bitterness. Conversation turned reflective. Ryan admitted faults. "I was scared of losing my world." Raven nodded. "And I was rigid, expecting perfection." Forgiveness flowed, but romance didn't reignite. They parted as allies, not lovers. Raven's journey continued, advocating fiercely while embracing nuance. He dated again, seeking alignment from the start. Ryan's evolution inspired others, proving change possible, albeit slow. In the end, their story highlighted society's fractures. How shared identity doesn't guarantee shared values. It sparked debates in their circles. Could love conquer ideological chasms? Was it right for Raven to end things over differing beliefs? Or should personal connections transcend politics?